Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer, and welcome to another Pokemon Challenge. Last week was a fun run through Johto, as I sought to answer the question of if I could beat Pokemon Silver with just a single Smoochum. Today though, we are doubling down on the baby Pokemon, and we are asking the question of if I can beat Pokemon Fire Red using just a single Cleffa. Cleffa. This is a bit of a step down from last week. A 218 base stat total is pretty bad. We do have decent HP and special stats, but our physical attack, defense and speed is bad. Also bad news, no fairy type in this game. We're mono normal, so we are weak to fighting and we are immune to ghost. Fire level up, well, I wasn't expecting much, but we do at least get Magical Leaf, which is nice. We have decent special attack, and that move never misses, so I could end up keeping that for the full run. I suppose we will get more coverage with TM moves. I am right, we do. We do get decent coverage TM-wise. We get Water Pulse, Hidden Power, Iron Tail, Return, Dig, Psychic, Shockwave, Shadow Ball, Flamethrower, all of which are very possible options. There is coverage, perhaps not optimal coverage in some instances, but I think we can make this work. I wish we got an ice move though. Predictions. I can't say we'll struggle versus Brock. If we have Magical Leaf, we'll probably sweep him. I'm struggling to see where any of the gym leaders might give me a real issue. The Elite Four, on the other hand, Lorelei and Lance might be problematic. Probably the main issue in this run will come from the rival. That's my thoughts. The rules. In combat, I can only use Cleffa. Other Pokemon will be needed for HMs but unable to fight. Only held items and Pokeballs in combat, but I can use items outside of battle. Last of all, no glitches or exploits. If you do enjoy what you see, like, subscribe and ring that bell. What time is it? It's Universal Pokemon Randomizer time. And I figure that there's not really a great downside to any of the starters, given that we're not weak to any of them. I just replaced Bulbasaur so that the rival has Charizard. It's not like we need to consider the double Intimidate from Gyarados and Arcanine, since I'm not planning on making this Cleffa a physical attacker. When we get the chance to nickname our starter, I call it Small Star, and then I look at the nature and see what we've got to work with. We've got the naughty nature, so increased attack and lowered special defense. I don't know how much of a good or bad thing that is. Lowered special defense isn't good, but it's already one of our better stats, so it's not going to make us that much weaker. We also have the cute charm ability. It could come in useful, but it's probably not best to rely on it too much. Let's go do the lab rival fight and see how this goes. I'm intrigued to see how this plays out. We have a stab pound, but not really the muscle to use it. Charmander is faster and wipes out a quarter of our health with a single scratch. Well, that's not good. Fortunately though, I have Charm and use 2 of them to wreck its attack stat before we start to exchange pounds and scratches. After a while, our cute Charm ability kicks in and the Charmander loses quite a few turns to Infatuation, meaning that we can go on the offensive without the fear of reprisals, and after so many turns, we can lay it out with Pound. Boom! 1 fight down. I go attack the local Pidgey and Rattata populace. I want to work on my speed EVs because being outsped by stuff a third of our level isn't particularly fun. I will say that. Speed and defense, I think, so I will be doing that as soon as I get to Viridian Forest. But yeah, those are the things we need to look at. It's not like I can EV train the special attack anytime soon anyway. Not long after, I decide to go tackle the Route 22 rival fight at level 14 just to see how we match up here. I think until we start getting super effective moves, the rival fights will be pretty awful. Mind you, when we do face him and have to listen to him mouthing off, we don't do too bad. Pidgey outspeeds us and tackles, though it does get infatuated by cute Charm and never gets the chance to attack again because he loves Small Star, during which point we can pound it a bunch of times into chicken soup. So far, so handy. His Charmander only attacks with Scratch, which results in a similar outcome, attraction to Small Star, and we can keep on pounding away at it while it stares at Cleffa with puppy dog eyes. It does hit some blows, but nothing too major. We never really look like going down. I train in the forest for a bit, and then, once I get Magical Leaf, I go off to face Brock in the Pewter City gym, feeling somewhat confident, I must say, because, after all, we have a Grass-type move, and he has 2 Pokemon 4 times weak to that type. I mean, I know we don't get Stab, but still, I don't think it's a case that we'll need it. Geodude is a one-hit with Magical Leaf, because were you really expecting anything else? Onix does outspeed, but misses bind, and we duly send it crashing down to the ground with another Magical Leaf. Boom! 1 badge down. Victory. I travel through Mount Moon and make my way to Cerulean City. On the way, though, there's a choice about fossils, and I have to make a choice over which one I pick before I can move on. It's not a choice that will massively impact the game, but it may well leave you guessing. And if you want to ask, well, why not? It's apparently good for something. In Cerulean, there's a choice between Misty and the rival, and I guess I'll pick Misty first. Anything to get a bit more power ahead of the rival, because I think his Pidgeotto will be a bit of an obstacle, because you know that thing is going to sand attack us. Anyway, Misty is a fight that we struggle with. Not Staryu, that's easy. We are slower and have to watch with relief as it goes for Harden before we shred it straight through with Magical Leaf. Starmie though, we do less than half with each attack. It would be a free hit if she didn't heal it, using a super potion to blast it back to full health before we end up being free hit by Water Pulse. So that's not good. We need to be able to do more damage. I'll try the rival and see what happens. I'm worried about that Pidgeotto, and it turns out that I absolutely should be scared because of what I said about 30 seconds ago about being sand attacked. We get hit with 2 of them. Now, for half this team, this absolutely isn't an issue because we have Magical Leaf, which never misses. But that move is not going to do a lot to a Pidgeotto or a Charmander, and we lose half our health to Pidgeotto before taking it out, thanks to some missed attacks, and it could have been so much worse. Rattata wipes out another quarter of our health before we down it with 2 Magical Leaf attacks, before the Charmander can wander in and finish us off with 2 Embers. I make a second attempt a few levels higher, and this time goes a lot better, as we only get hit with 1 sand attack from Pidgeotto, and this time we are able to free hit it with our pound attacks. It lands a gust and a quick attack, but nothing we can't handle as we bring down the bird with minimal fuss. Rattata is a one hit with Magical Leaf before Charmander is next, and I am leery about being burned by that Ember attack. I try a Magical Leaf just to see what sort of damage it does before resorting to Pound, and after some frustration I beat it down hard. The Abra is last and it can't attack us, so it is a 2-hit with Magical Leaf because I didn't want to waste any time missing attacks. That's another fight down. I go hit Misty on the way back after I've gotten the ticket from Bill with a bit more of a level advantage. This time, when we fight her, we are faster than Staryu and can one-hit it with Magical Leaf before, once again, we face off with her ace with the mighty Starmie. That thing is faster than us. There's no 2 ways of putting that. We tank a Water Pulse and then hit it with Magical Leaf for 2/3 of its health before it lands another Water Pulse on us and manages to get the confusion. We have to fight through that confusion though, and we do that. We down it with a second Magical Leaf. 2 badges down! On the way to Vermilion City, I do catch a bunch of Meowth for pickup and get my hands on a hidden power TM. So I use it to replace Sing to see what sort of type we got. Please be ice, please be ice, please be ice, please be ice. Unfortunately, it's the bug type, which doesn't do me any favours. That is no use to me at all. I train on the SSN and make my way to fight the rival there, since we need to beat him to move on. The last one was unpleasant. I hope this one might not be that bad. I taught Small Star Water Pulse to give us some coverage. Pidgeotto lands a blow, but is 2 hit with Water Pulse and Pound. Raticate lands a Tail Whip, but also goes down to Water Pulse and Pound, before Kadabra comes out third and we down it with a single Pound. Last is Charmeleon. We blast it in the face with Water Pulse and it has the desired effect of taking it out. Surge is next, and this one could be an interesting fight. He has the capacity to be irritating for sure. At least we get his gym puzzle out of the way reasonably quickly, and then we go off and face him for the 3rd badge. We blast Voltorb with Water Pulse, hoping for confusion, and we get it. It hits itself in said confusion and drops into red health, prompting him to heal it, but we then down it with 2 pounds. Pikachu is a 1-hit with Magical Leaf before Raichu is last. We hit Water Pulse but don't get confusion before getting paralysed by Thunder Wave. We do get hit by 2 Shock Waves as we drop it down low after clipping it with a Magical Leaf. But when I try to finish his mouse off with Pound because he hasn't gone for Double Team and I'm feeling confident, he decides to go for Double Team. But it doesn't matter, we hit the blow, we take it out. Through Rock Tunnel and into Lavender Town we go, and I figure while we're here we might as well fight the rival one more time. This fight is usually not an issue. I'll repeat that, usually not an issue. However, this time we get sand attacked by Pidgeotto when we can't 1-hit it with Water Pulse, and it doubles down with Quick Attack as we finish it with Pound. Gyarados is a free hit with Magical Leaf as it does wreck us with Thrash. We take a lot of damage from this. I think I might need that Shockwave TM for future fights. Execute is the problem as we don't have a great way to hurt it. We get put to sleep after it shrugs off Pound and it just repeatedly lamps us with confusion over and over and over while we can't fight back because we're asleep. While we're asleep, it even confuses us. We do eventually wake up and hit it with a Water Pulse, but with 1 HP left, we can't do much and we go down. Right, Return and Shockwave. One is an improvement on Pound and I'll need it for stuff that is especially defensively bulky, and given the amount of water and flying types that are at the end game, I don't think Shockwave is a bad idea. Anyway, we challenge the rival once again, and this time we come through the first bit of the fight mostly unscathed, barring Pidgeotto landing a crit Quick Attack. We down both that and Gyarados with our Shockwave move, which means we're not half dead going into Execute, which helps. We 2-hit it with Return. It does retaliate with Confusion, but it is not like it can hurt us badly. Kadabra goes down to a single return, speaking of special defensively bulky stuff. And last is Charmeleon. We blast it in the face with Water Pulse and claim the win. Arriving in Celadon, it is the choice between Erica and Giovanni, and I go for Giovanni because we don't have a fantastic way of hurting grass types. So, I might need to be stronger to fight through her status inflicting team. We saw in the rival fight how fragile we can be if we get inflicted with a status condition, so that is something to be concerned about. I go through the Rocket hideout and get to Giovanni, but he is not an issue, given we have super effective moves against 2/3 of his team. Up first is Onix, and we shoot it down with Magical Leaf. Awesome. That might be the move I get rid of soon though for something else. Next is Rhyhorn, and we fire a Magical Leaf at it to end it before the Kangaskhan is out last. I don't really have a great way to deal with the Kangaskhan, so I just return it twice for a knockout while it only bites us in retaliation. Go on, I'll do Erica while I'm here in town, see if we can take her down. We have a stern level advantage, but that is just to stay in contention in any given fight, since we are going up against Pokemon with more than twice our base stat total in some instances. Now, the Erica fight is closer than you might think for someone with a 30 level advantage. I go for return on the Victory Bell and we down it in a single hit, so we don't have to worry about status affliction there. Now, Tangela is next, and that is also a 1-hit with return. So far so good, right? Well, the problem comes with Vileplume, as that actually survives return on red health and it hits us with Stun Spore. Uh-oh! She heals it, and then we lose a lot of turns to paralysis as she lands repeated Giga Drains on us, taking us down to low yellow health before we Kanto hit it with return. Well, that was close. Minor crisis averted. While I am walking around Pokemon Tower, here's some trivia for you about Cleffa. It shares its category with Staryu. They're both known as the star-shaped Pokemon. Along with Igglybuff and Morwell, it has the lowest base speed of all Fairy-type Pokemon. 22 Pokemon from the first 5 generations were changed to Fairy-type in Gen 6, and this evolution line was one of them. I don't have much else at this point. I head to Sylph after that to clear it out. I'll do everything I need to do in Saffron before I head down to Fuchsia. I did go and get the leftovers before this because any health recovery I can get will feel like it's vital ahead of upcoming battles. You might have noticed me catching stuff in Pokemon Tower, all for that reason. The rival fight here in Sylph is one of the more concerning ones, so we will have to see how we do. This fight is not a straightforward one. We do get health recovery throughout, and that is massive because I think we lose without it. Pidgeot, we can't one-hit with Shockwave. It lands wing attack but gets infatuated. We two-hit it when it can't attack on the second turn. At least Gyarados is a one-hit with Shockwave. It does about as well as Gyarados have always done versus electricity. We've been intimidated though, and it's mangled our already weak attack. Charizard hits us with Smokescreen and Flamethrower, the former concerning me far more than the latter, as we down it with Water Pulse and Shockwave. Execute is friggin' annoying as we try to take it out with return through our debuffs, and just to make things worse, it paralyses us with Stun Spore and then spends the rest of the fight trying to confuse us with Confusion. Lowered attack and accuracy, paralysed and confused. That would just not be fun. Thankfully though, Confusion never comes and we can take it down eventually after much relief. Alakazam is last, it goes for Calm Mind and then survives return on red health. I don't want to chance another return missing and I go for Shockwave to down it even as it goes for Future Sight. Whew! At least we have Giovanni next and I think it's time to use that Psychic TM. Magical Leaf has been useful up to this point, but I don't think there's much that Grass is super effective against that Water also doesn't do the job on. We have Shockwave for Water types that resist Water Pulse. It's not like there's any Water Ground types in this game for me to worry about, since they don't let Quagsire cross the border from Johto. It's stuck at Pokemon Passport Control. Ah, what an image. And we are going to need that Psychic move at some point, probably during the league. Even might be handy in the Poison Gym. When we get to fight Giovanni, we use that new move to wreck his Nidorino in one hit before it can try to poison us. His Nidoqueen is next and we use Psychic to slam her into the ground. She survives and hits us for meagre damage with Poison Sting. You are about 3 generations too early for that to be super effective, love. We finish her off with Water Pulse. Kangaskhan is a 2-hit with return, only flinging a tail whip at us in exchange before the Rhyhorn comes in and then Julie gets drenched with a Water Pulse and drops down in defeat. There's too many words that start with D in that last sentence. Sabrina is next, and hey, at least we don't get intimidated before fighting her Alakazam here, so that's a tiny, tiny mercy. I'm down with that. I don't know how easy or hard she'll be, but I think we'll win. Overpowering her shouldn't be a problem. Well, I'm either about to eat those words or it might be apt foresight. We'll see. Kadabra is first and goes down to return. Mr. Mime is out second and it also goes down to return. So that's so far so good. Venomoth is third and it goes down to a Psychic attack using her tactics against her. Sneaky, sneaky once and future gamer. Alakazam does outspeed us. It hits a Psychic for nearly half our health and then we one-hit it with return. Interesting. Let's travel south to Fuchsia City then, because we need to beat Koga to open up the next section of the game. I'm not worried about him if I'm honest. We've got a super effective move and a massive level advantage. So, provided we can deal with Muck okay, we'll be fine. Coffee number 1 is a one-hit with Psychic. When the muck comes out, we blast it with a psychic that crits to end it. So, that's great. Don't know if that crit was needed or not, but it was welcome. Coffee number 2 goes down the same way as the first, before the wheezing at the last is also down with a psychic blast to give us the 6th badge with minimal fuss. Blaine is next in the fire gym, and this could be an interesting fight. After getting access to his gym, we head inside. Arcanine could be tricky. I'm not sure if we will one-hit it or not. I can't see the rest of his team being a problem. It's Blaine after all. Going in to face him with confidence is a given. Anyway, Growlithe is a one-hit with Water Pulse. Not a problem. Ponyta is also a one-hit with Water Pulse. That was simple. Now, for his big 2 though. Rapidash survives Water Pulse but misses Fire Blast, which I would like to say is key for the outcome of the battle, but it doesn't really make a difference. He wastes 2 Hyper Potions trying to save it as we whittle the horse down again and again, where it can't do anything as we drown it in submission. The Arcanine is last, and by the time it comes out, we've recovered most of our health. We outspeed on the first turn, which I'm shocked about, and blast it with Water Pulse. It survives and hits Fire Blast, which we survive hardly, and to be fair, it's a good job we do, because it moves first on the second turn and hits another Fire Blast before we finish it off with a second Water Pulse. That could have been very bad indeed, but we came through mostly unscathed. Last gym then, and it is a final fight with Giovanni. He's not been a problem so far, so I think we'll be just fine here. I mean, maybe the Nidos and Dugtrio might be an issue, but I doubt it if I'm honest. We're set up to counter his team pretty well. He begins with his first Rhyhorn, and it duly gets wrecked with Water Pulse, setting the tone for this fight. Nidoqueen is next, so he's going early with that, and we one-hit it with Psychic, before he goes for his other Toxic Monarch and brings out the Nidoking. It doesn't take long for us to blast it with Psychic, and that also hits the dirt, before Dugtrio is out fourth. Dugtrio is faster than us and hits an Earthquake, but we shrug it off and down it with Water Pulse before the second Rhyhorn comes out, and it also goes down to Water Pulse. So, easy victory! Know who won't be easy? The rival. We head to Route 22 and face off with him once again, and I am a little worried going into it. The previous fights have been close, and I don't doubt this one will be the same as we set up to fight. We are still slower than Pidgeot, and we get tagged with a crit wing attack right at the start of the fight, which feels like it's about to set the tone for the entire thing. We still can't one-hit it with Shockwave either. Thankfully, it gets immobilised by Love for the second turn, and we can down it. Rhyhorn is next, and it fares about as well as the ones used by Giovanni did in the previous fight as we down it with Water Pulse. Execute is third, and this is good because we can use Return on it without our attack being wrecked by Intimidate. It does survive though. It paralyses us with Stun Spore and charges up Solar Beam. We can't take it down due to paralysis kicking in, and it duly crits us with Solar Beam. We survive and take it out. Alakazam is next. It goes for Calm Mind, and once again we are paralysed, but it does get greedy and goes for another Calm Mind as we down it with Return. Gyarados goes for a Rain Dance and does us a solid favour in more ways than one as we down it with Shockwave before we face off with Charizard. He didn't think this one through, did he? It can't Flamethrower us, so it goes to Wing Attack before we one-hit it with a crit, Rain-boosted Water Pulse. If he makes dumb decisions like that in the champion fight, they might as well give me the trophy now. I am still concerned about his Execute though. It'll not be easier to beat in the final fight when it has evolved, that is for sure. Oh well, we've got to get there first, I suppose. While I travel around Victory Road, let's talk about what's ongoing with the channel. It's been an interesting week. Now, at the time of writing and recording this script, I had recorded 2 episodes of my playthrough of Pokemon Violet, one of which went up on Sunday, one of which went up on Tuesday. Now on the Sunday, after I recorded the second episode, my capture card died. Being fair, I had a technical issue during the recording of the second episode. Apparently, buying a cheap capture card wasn't the best idea. It gave me the push though to leap into the Black Friday sale and get a new one off Amazon. I'm not naming the brand, but if you know anything about capture cards, it's quite a well-known brand. So there might have been a third episode of Violet, depending on what happened with that. Or it might have been an already recorded Let's Go Pikachu episode. I don't know, I can't see the future. But yeah, in terms of stuff breaking, what a timing, huh? I am enjoying Violet so far. There are a few flaws, but I'm enjoying it. We also did upload episode 5 of Skyward Sword, something else I will need that new capture card for if I want to record any more episodes. And also uploaded was episode 26 of Fable Anniversary, which is the penultimate episode of that playthrough. Also, episode 15 of Resident Evil Revelations 2. I was really planning on doubling down on Pokemon Violet this week. I recorded a few more episodes of my playthrough of the remake of Resident Evil 1 for future uploads. Even started playing the second Spyro game for a playthrough of that on the channel. Now, you're probably wondering what next week's challenge is going to be. And you know what? I am too, because my mind has just gone blank at the time of writing. An investigation of my plan tells me that it's going to be Pokemon Yellow, so we're staying in Kanto, and it's going to be with a single Doduo. That could be interesting. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, drop them in the comments section, or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. Also, if you want to support the channel, then there's also a link to my Patreon there, so check that out if you're interested. If not, the fact that you are here and watching is enough for me. It's great for the YouTube algorithms if you're viewing, liking and commenting, so yeah, thank you for that. Anyway, I eventually get to the Indigo Plateau, and here are Small Star's stats when we do at level 91. Now, we look at these stats and you might notice that they are pretty bad. This is nearly max level, so they're not going to get much better. Special attack and special defense are just about passable. HP is decent, but, and I will point out, this is with an attack boost in nature as well. I am not confident looking at these, but who knows how things will turn out. Take your guesses on if I can do it at this level or not. Now! Ice Trainer Lorelei is first, and I think we're about as ready as we'll ever be. I mean, we can only do what we can do. However, though, this fight goes pretty badly. We can't quite two-hit Dewgong with Shockwave due to it being tanky. It puts the hail up, but thankfully we can heal what damage we take. She heals it when we drop it onto red health, and then we have to wear it down all over again. I discover that Return does more damage than Shockwave, so I resort to that strategy instead, finishing it off with Shockwave after our first Return does about 2/3 of its health. Cloyster is a one hit with Shockwave due to being specially defensively weak. Slowbro, out third, is a 2-hit with Shockwave, but it does critters with Surf, because of course it does. Lapras is next, and we also get hit with Surf here. It survives our Shockwave, but we do get a lucky crit of our own to take it out. Plus, thanks to leftovers, we go into the fight with Jinx at just over the quarter health mark. Unfortunately though, it is faster than us and hits an Ice Punch that ends us. Well, that's not good. Is it too early to max out my level and go from there? I do hit Victory Road for more training. We try Lorelei again at level 94, but again, we go down to Jinx. We have plenty of health this time and survive a flurry of Ice Punches. The problem is that she lands a lovely kiss right at the start of the round, and we never wake up from the sleep, giving her Jinx the chance to wail on us with the frozen fists of fury. And the irony that that's exactly what I was doing last week with Jinx's pre-evolved form isn't lost on me. I go back in at level 97, and this isn't rare candy leveling either, it's grinding in Victory Road with the Meowth team, because I want PP ups. Once again, we can't beat Jinx thanks to an enemy somehow managing to consistently land a 75% accuracy move on us without fail. I am getting a bit fed up of that. The rivals Execute kept doing it, and now Jinx keeps doing it as well. The joke is, we would probably one-hit Jinx if we actually woke up from sleep, or the inaccurate move missed. I'm going to have to be max level, aren't I? I get up to level 100 and try again. Most of the first bit of the fight plays out similar. Return and Shockwave for Dewgong. A single Shockwave for Cloyster. a shockwave and a return for Slowbro when it uses amnesia to boost up its special defence. Lapras changes it up a bit by going for Confuse Ray. Thanks for that. We managed to take it out with a return and 2 shockwaves though. Thankfully, she never goes for the heal on her ace. Jinx is still faster, but only goes for Ice Punch. We have enough health to tank that move, though, given the way these fights have gone, I am expecting the freeze. We down it with a probably unnecessary crit return. Well, thank Arceus for that. Bruno is next, and I think this one should be easier. I am right, you know. A lot of the fight is easier. But there is one incredibly irritating opponent in this fight. Onyx goes down to Water Pulse. No, it's not that one. Hitmonchan goes down to Psychic. No, it's not that either. Hitmonlee also goes down to Psychic. Still not that. Machamp, though, just about survives our Psychic attack and uses Bulk Up before he spams full restores over and over in a vain attempt to keep it alive, meaning we have to waste our precious PP to try and take it down. When we do finally take it down, Onyx number 2 comes out and we murder it with Water Pulse. We work out some of our frustrations from Machamp on that hapless rock snake. Agatha then, number 3. Not sure how this one will go, but if we want to win the challenge, then I need to beat her, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, the first Gengar is faster and wastes our time and, more importantly, our psychic power points by double teaming over and over, meaning we miss 2 psychic attacks before we do land the third. It's not doing much for my mood, I'll tell you that. Golbat is a 2-hit with Shockwave, but it lands 2 air cutters for decent damage. Arbok, out third, is a 1-hit with Psychic before the second Gengar comes out. It lands Hypnosis, of course, because asking a status move to miss is clearly expecting a lot, and then it uses Nightmare on us. We never wake up for the rest of the fight because that would also be too much to ask for, and then it takes us down with a combination of Nightmare damage and Sludge Bomb. Second attempt at this fight goes a lot better. When the first Gengar goes for double team, we land our Psychic at the first attempt this time, so that's not bad. Golbat is still faster and lands an Air Cutter, but I'm grateful to see that it doesn't crit as we one-hit it with Psychic. Arbok is still a 1-hit with Psychic. The second Gengar goes for Sludge Bomb this time, rather than putting us to sleep, and we can one-hit it with Psychic. So that's something to be pleased about. Then, Haunter outspeeds us, to my surprise, and of course it lands the Hypnosis. As a result, I'm expecting a loss, but it does waste a turn on us with Mean Luck when we have no other options and we're not going anywhere. We wake up, and then we punish it brutally by taking it out with Psychic. Phew! 2 fights left then. How bad is Lance going to be? I have a horrible feeling that awful might be the answer. If only we were a type that was completely immune to Dragon. Nope. Yeah, 3 generations too early once again. All we can do is hope. Those dragons will be the issue. I'm not too concerned by Gyarados or Aerodactyl. So, those are famous last words, as Gyarados is faster than us and hits Dragon Rage. Even worse, it survives a Shockwave on a sliver of health. He heals it, we get some health back, and I figure with a better damage roll, we might take it down. No such luck. We go to finish it with Return and get blasted with Hyper Beam. Aerodactyl hits Wing Attack and gets infatuated, but we can't one-hit it. It then blasts us with Hyper Beam to end us. Okay, I think that was pretty bad. That couldn't really have gone much worse if it had tried. I set out to make some more tries. A second attempt goes better, as this time we one-hit Gyarados with Shockwave. Words fail me truly, but we still get hit with Dragon Rage. Aerodactyl is a 2-hit with Shockwave, but it does hit us with Wing Attack and Ancient Power. We have about half our health left going into Dragonite, who hits us with Outrage, but at least our cute charm ability does activate. We do get lucky with this as we 4-hit it with Psychic. There are at least 2 turns where it doesn't attack. It just takes 1 turn though, where it does hit us hard with another Outrage and leaves us on 1 HP. even as we finally take it out. He still has 2 Dragonair left as well. My only chance here is if we outspeed both of them and one-hit them. Well, we do half of it. We do outspeed, we land a Psychic, and then get taken down from red health with another Outrage. I really don't want to have to resort to double team. Many attempts later, I realise I might have to try double team. We can't tank these hits, so perhaps it is best to try and avoid them completely. I think I have to get rid of Water Pulse. Not good, but I think this is the only way that I can do it. I tried going toe-to-toe and it didn't work. Right then, I make my try, and the first thing I try to do versus Gyarados is to go and get my 6 double teams up. This is probably not always going to work. We will take some blows throughout the fight, but we do at least have health recovery, so that is something. And I am kind of glad that while we are double teaming, it alternates between Dragon Rage and Bite, missing the latter in all of its attempts. We do recover a lot of health over the course of the fight, and once I finally get my 6 double team up, I go on the offensive. I drop the Gyarados into red health with Shockwave. He heals it, but our second Shockwave downs it. Aerodactyl misses 2 attacks on us, an Ancient Power and a Wing Attack, as we down it with 2 Shockwaves, meaning that we are pretty much at full health going into Dragonite. I alternate between Return and Psychic to inflict damage on it, trying to find the sweet spot to hit it with so that I don't drop it into healing range. It has a berry, and eventually we drop it into red health with a Psychic attack. Plus, to my relief, we get the special defense drop. I am half expecting the heal, but knocking it down again won't be as bad with that defense debuff. He does hit a wing attack on us during the exchanges, but he does miss so many more attacks, and finally we drop Dragonite with Shockwave. The first Dragonair is his 4th option, and we hit it with Return for just over half its health, while it reapplies Safeguard. We then down it with a Psychic. I repeat the tactic with the second Dragonair and his final Pokemon, while this time it misses a Thunder Wave on us. Now if we'd been hit by that, things would probably have gotten very interesting indeed. As it is, we win, and I'm hugely relieved. I didn't want to find out just how interesting that fight could have gotten if that Thunder Wave did land. Final fight then, and I can put a line under this run if we can win. I kind of wonder if I might be better with the Bug Hidden Power TM than with Return, but I'll see how this goes. I predict many failed attempts here because Pidgeot is capable of messing both our accuracy and our attack up. I wonder if maybe I should have popped an elixir before the fight, but I'm sure I'll be getting sent for respawn before long. We begin versus Pidgeot, and it goes on the offensive straight away with Aerial Ace. I'll take it, you know, as I start to double team, anything to avoid it using stat debuffs. Plus, as eventually happens, since Aerial Ace never misses despite our double teams, he runs the risk of being infatuated via Cute Charm when he hits us. And when he's unable to attack, it gives us elbow room. We do, unfortunately, get hit with a Feather Dance, and it just made the fight that bit harder. Not for this round, but for others. When we get that 6 double team up, at last, I go, finally, on the offensive and drop Pidgeot with 2 Shockwaves. Alakazam is next, and our attack stat is wrecked, but I have to go for it. It then goes for Reflect, and our Return does pretty much nothing to it. So I resort to Shockwave tactics for slightly more damage as it misses Psychic after Psychic on us. Eventually, we drop it into red health and he heals it, though eventually the Reflect does go down and we can just keep hitting it with Return until finally the Alakazam goes down and we are unscathed. Executor is next, and our Return doesn't do much to it, so much so that I start dropping Psychic attacks onto it instead to inflict more damage. Even resisted, it does just about do more damage. Eventually, we drop it into red health and he heals it, but the only attack it lands is an Egg Bomb, which we shrug off, and I just decide to give it defeat by half a dozen Return attacks. Eventually, we knock it out, though it does feel like an eternity. Rhydon is a 2-hit with Psychic. even though it does somehow manage to hit Scary Face through 6 double teams, but it does miss Earthquake, which is probably fair trade. His Gyarados, he heals twice, but it misses all the Dragon Rage attacks when it does get the chance to attack us. We just keep shockwaving it over and over until finally it goes down, and there's just the Charizard left standing. Now, it does know Aerial Ace, but we shrug those blows off and blast it with our own attacks, our Shockwave and Psychics, until, with his starter weak, he calls for Fire Blast against something with 6 double teams up, and that is an inaccurate move at the best of times. We land our final attack to drop it, giving us the win, and finally letting me into the Hall of Fame, where I breathe a huge sigh of relief and slump to the ground in triumph. That was actually the first try, and I do not think my nerves could have taken much more of that. Oh my word, that ending was brutal. We certainly hit the wall come the Elite Four, and it might not have been pretty, but we found a way to win. It might not have been flashy or aesthetically pleasing, but we did it, and that's what matters. Cleffa is a pretty bad Pokemon, let's be honest, but then again, it's meant to be. I hope you enjoyed. If you have, leave a like or a comment. If you haven't already done so, then drop a subscribe to the channel. Help it grow. If you have any ideas for future challenges, drop them in the said comment section, or follow the links in my description to my Twitter or my Discord. If you want to support the channel in other ways, there's also a link to my Patreon. Join me again this time next week for another Pokemon challenge as we remain in Kanto and see if I can beat Pokemon Yellow using just a single Doduo. I wonder how we'll do there. Can't possibly be as bad as this one for sure. Side note, I've actually got the moveset open for Gen 1 in front of me, and I might want to withdraw that statement. Outro then, what's going on with me? Well, I've been dating someone new, that's going really well so far, so fingers crossed that things persist as they are. Definitely kicked a bit of passion back into my life, that's for sure. Was supposed to go for a pub lunch the day before recording this, but things went a bit wrong when we didn't realise it was reservation only. Fun times. Got to laugh about it afterwards, right? Ended up going for all-you-can-eat meat at a Brazilian restaurant instead because apparently that's a thing now. Other than that, I mentioned my thoughts on Pokemon Violet briefly earlier. Some flaws, but definitely enjoying it and looking forward to seeing where it goes. There's a lot of content on the internet right now related to it, but if you want to share my journey with me, then you can find the link to the playlist on the end screen, at least when I get to carry on with it when my capture card arrives. We are going to stop now, because I've whittled on long enough. Until next time, folks, this has been Once and Future Gamer. This has been Pokemon Fire Red with just a single Cleffa, and I will see you next time! Bye-bye now, folks. Take care. See ya.